Have you ever thought about those Dragon Ball characters that died in the series and were never brought back with all of the major wishes with the Dragon Balls? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about 7 key examples and also include a bonus character at the end. And the first character that we're going to talk about in today's video is actually the farmer with the shotgun. Now, this is going to be very annoying saying his name over and over again because I feel like I'm talking about a pimp named Slickback from the Boondocks, where every single time I have to say the whole thing, the farmer with the shotgun, because he doesn't have a name. But he's a very interesting case because in the manga he was killed by Raditz and there was never a wish to bring him back. But the anime pretty much makes it implied because of his cameo appearances afterwards that he had somehow just gotten injured and survived because he was shown multiple times afterwards. For example, in the Android arc, he is shown in the mountains when they were looking for Dr. Gero. In the Great Saiyaman arc, you could actually see him next to his truck right here. And then when we go on to the Kid Buu arc, you could actually see him in the background where he has food. And when we move on to Battle of Gods, he was redesigned to look a lot more like Senbei Norimaki from Dr. Slump, but you can see that in the Battle of Gods movie, what we appear to believe is the farmer with the shotgun was seen here too. So, he's a character that died but also somehow existed and was never revived with the Dragon Balls but yet makes cameo appearances. Now, for our second spot on the list, we have the truck driver. Now, the truck driver is a very interesting example because it's very simple. When Vegeta and Android 18 were fighting, there was a random truck driver who was driving his truck, and Vegeta fires an energy blast at Android 18, who easily avoids his blast, and this just blows the truck driver to pieces. There was never a specific wish to bring this truck driver back, so unfortunately he died and never came back when he was just doing his job driving his truck. But now we move on to a massive attack where we go to the island 9 miles southwest of South City. And specifically, we're talking about the characters of Android 19 and Dr. Gero killing a few civilians in that city. And later on, when there was a conflict directly between Goku's group and Dr. Gero, we see a massive explosion. Now, obviously, many people probably died from this, even though we didn't literally see it. And considering the fact that the wish was originally made to revive people who were victims of Cell, that means that these people in this situation would have been killed and they would have never been brought back to life. And this also takes us to another major moment where we have the Saiyan attack. So if you guys remember specifically, and there's a manga variation but there's also an anime adaptation, when Vegeta and Nappa arrive on Earth, they destroy a city, and then when you also factor in that in the anime adaptation you have like that filler scene where Nappa was basically fighting against a military attack, that's also a lot of other innocent civilians that would have never been wished back, because if they were, what wish would have brought them back, considering the fact that the next time the Dragon Balls were used, they were used from the Namekians, and they were also used from the Earth Dragon Balls to only bring back one person at a time, so it was impossible to ever bring these people back at that specific time. And then we also have other innocent civilians, which it's kind of gray area if they ever came back, but it was never confirmed that they did, so we can probably guess that they aren't. And these are the innocent Namekians that Vegeta killed in his village. Now, later on, it's revealed that the Dragon Balls were essentially upgraded to bring back more people at once instead of just wishing one person back at a time. And it's possible that after the Dragon Balls were upgraded that the Namekians had brought back those from their specific village. However, if there was some ruling that we don't know about where they wouldn't have been able to bring back those before the Dragon Balls were upgraded or changed, then that means that that Namekian village that Vegeta killed basically stayed dead forever. And now we move on to 2 other things that I want you guys to open up your minds to. Moving on to number 6, we have random energy blasts on Earth. Now, this is not something that is confirmed, but throughout the history of Dragon Ball, there's been quite a bit of random, powerful energy blasts that just happen to fly. We see this a lot more in the anime adaptation than the manga adaptation, but specifically, a lot of the times that these blasts are going around, it's very easy that our heroes could have killed many, many, many people with their energy blast, and it's just never reported. They're just random casualties in the background that die, and nobody ever reports them. And then when we also go on to the next one, we have to talk about innocent alien civilians who died. And there's a whole bunch of them that we could go into. The filler episodes have moments like, you know, Planet Aurelia. And then also if you want to go with Frieza's Empire killing, I mean, entire races of people and entire planets of people. So, I mean, you could talk about all of the innocent civilians of the past that have basically died that nobody ever talks about, or we would ever hear about because this happened so long ago. And an interesting case would be the character of Boss Rabbit, because Boss Rabbit truly is a perfect metaphor to describe this, because he was sent to the moon and then Master Roshi blew up the moon and we just never heard anything about Boss Rabbit ever again. Now, for our bonus character, guys, I wanted to talk about Paragus. He's not innocent, so that's why I didn't want to include him in the main 7, but he did just get killed by Frieza. And there were multiple opportunities where our characters could have brought him back, so it kind of doesn't make sense why Paragus wasn't revived. I mean, Broly, if he had enough sense, could just ask the other characters, hey, can you bring my dad back? And they could easily just bring Paragus back. Now, the thing is, what would a character like Paragus do? But because he's not a good guy, nobody really cares, but, I mean, he could be revived.